I love visiting the suburbs because it's a really nice escape from New York. One of the problems of living and working in New York is that when you are attuned to or plugged in to the lifestyle of New York, the noise, the pace, the energy, the grind, the hustle. I'm not sure if you do it consciously or subconsciously, your mind starts to feel like that's what life is and that's what all life is. And of course that's not the truth. America is a very big country, with a lot of people. The world is a really big place. And you're reminded of that when you leave New York and visit the suburbs. To be clear, I didn't grow up in the suburbs. I mean, not really. I grew up in a part of Queens called Middle Village, which was suburban-ish. So there were houses like this, but they were definitely not nearly as big and definitely not nearly as much lawn space either. I think the benefits of living in the suburbs is pretty clear. There's so much more space. There's more space for people. There's more space for your stuff. And to someone who grew up in New York City, this just feels kind of weird. It's almost like there's too much space. The second thing is that it's pretty quiet. It's calm. It's comfortable. It's predictable. But like everything in life, that comes with trade-offs. The obvious trade-off is that suburbs are not walkable. As you can see, lots of cars passing by, car in every driveway. So to get anywhere in the suburbs, you need a car. And it always takes longer than you think. Even if you're running a simple errand like picking up lunch, picking up dinner, dry cleaning, groceries, whatever it is, it always ends up taking longer than you think. And I think the second aspect that's a trade-off about the suburbs is that you end up spending more time inside your own home. You end up spending more time alone. It's almost like by design. You give people these really big houses, and within your house, even within my friend's house, you have all the space you could possibly want for your hobbies, your family, home offices, like whatever it is you can imagine. And one of the reasons people want to move out to the suburbs is for their kids. Because as you can see, this area, it's really nice. It's really quiet, calm. It's the type of area where you would feel comfortable just letting your kids roam outside by themselves. And I think at least that's what people tell themselves, parents, I mean, when they make the decision to accept the trade-offs and move out to the suburbs. They tell themselves that they're moving out here for their kids, to give their kids a better life. And I think part of that is true, that overall the schools are probably better in the suburbs than in an urban area like New York City. But the great irony of moving your kids and your family to the suburbs is that the data actually shows that kids who grow up in the suburbs spend less time outdoors. Now, you might think to yourself, that doesn't make any sense. If you have kids and you live in a neighborhood like this one, like why wouldn't you just let them go outside and play? Why wouldn't you let them go outside and ride their bikes, hang out with their friends? In a way, in a sick and twisted way, an ironic way, the design of the suburbs keeps kids indoors. The first reason for that is if you are someone who believes this is a safer environment for your kids, then you're probably more likely to keep your kids indoors and where you can keep an eye on them. The second reason is there's so much space out here that kids have less of a reason to go outside, especially nowadays with all the technology we have, the iPads, the video game systems, PCs, hobbies, whatever it is. These houses are so big that you can have dedicated rooms for your kids to play in. Third reason is that without a car, it's really hard to get anywhere fun. Like, I remember for me, starting in probably middle school, I was starting to take the bus to and from school. And then starting in high school, I was taking the subway to get to and from school. And that's probably unimaginable to parents and kids in the suburbs. For the most part out here, no one goes anywhere without a car. So you have to drive your kids to and from everything. And that gets old. So you probably just, for the most part, want to keep your kids at home when you can. So do people make the decision to move out here for their kids, or are they really making that decision for themselves, for their own peace of mind? I think it's the latter. I think people move out here for themselves. That's the great irony of the suburbs. People move their families out here thinking that they're going to give them a better life, a safer, quieter, more comfortable life. And in a sense, you do give them that. You do get that here in the suburbs. But everything in life comes with trade-offs. And the trade-off you make is that your kids spend more time coddled, smothered, kept indoors. They don't really get the opportunity to become independent or do anything for themselves until they're maybe 16, when they get their own car. And all of those lessons, I guess, or all the street smarts I picked up roaming my neighborhood as a kid and then a teenager, not just my neighborhood, the city. I used to spend a lot of time in Chinatown and Flushing. A kid growing up in the suburbs wouldn't get any of that. Someone's mowing their lawn, let's cross the street. So am I telling you not to move out to the suburbs? That's not what I'm saying. I will say that if you are a young person and if you are a single person, don't move to the suburbs. Like, it is literally already hard enough to want to do things and go outside and be social, living in Queens and New York City. I would imagine if I lived out in a place like this and I had probably not even a home, like I'd probably go crazy living in one of these homes by myself. If I had like a little townhouse to myself, I'd probably not want to leave it. Like, there's just so much space here. It's so quiet and comfortable. Like, I would imagine it would be really hard to just get myself up to go out and do anything. If you have a family and you're thinking about moving to the suburbs, I think the suburbs are great in many ways for a family and for your kids. But just realize that, like everything else in life, there are trade-offs. One of the biggest trade-offs, and I'm quickly reminded of it because we go out to eat. We went to an Indian place today for lunch. And the food was just okay. You know, the last Indian place I had was this place in Jersey, and it was so authentic. The food was spicy, really great flavors. The tandoori chicken was wonderful. And then the place I went to today, it was just okay. Like, things tasted okay. It wasn't that good. But honestly, that place we went to was probably like the best Indian place in this entire county. And that's one of the trade-offs you make coming to the suburbs. You just know that there's not going to be very good food. You just know that the best food in that whatever random suburb is at best like a mediocre place in a city like New York. That's probably one of the toughest things to get used to. It's just not that much good food. Well, look at these power lines. Sure, you can hear the humming or the buzzing. One of the things that my friend and her husband joke about is, oh, you should move out here. You should find yourself a nice townhouse. And the honest truth is that I don't think I could ever do that. Certainly not as a single person. At this point in my life, I can't imagine living here by myself. So that's all I got for this video. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care of yourself, and if you can, someone else too.